Of course, those doors. These close these doors. Thank you. So guys, thank you for being here. I know we have a lot more people that will be trickling in with us over the next 3 hours. So we appreciate your time today. We are going to go through various stages of the web hosting training for ClubExpress. And I sent you all that agenda last week. It kind of broke it down by the hour of what we'll be doing through those. Yvonne and Kaylee are going to present for 45 minutes, and then we'll do an open Q&A. For them to hear you best, if you have a question, raise your hand and I'll bring a mic. So make sure that they can hear that for you guys. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ronnie. So Ronnie can introduce herself and our trainers, Yvonne and Kaylee.
Hi, everyone. If I don't know you already, my name is Ronnie Levine, and I am the program administrator for the NIGP chapter website program. So it will be me that you're receiving emails from and such about your websites and stuff like that. So I wanted to introduce our trainer today, Yvonne Chris, and Yvonne is with the Claim Pros. And basically what we did is, in order to be sure that we were addressing your needs as quickly as possible, we have separate support partners that are Yvonne and her daughter Kaylee. They are the people that you would reach out to in terms of questions or support. They run our monthly office hours. They're doing training here. So Yvonne will be doing our training today. So I just wanted to introduce her. And also just one other item that I know Jennifer mentioned questions. So just to be sure that we get through all the items that we had planned for today, we're asking that we do hold our questions till the end. So because if we get sidetracked, then we don't necessarily stick to our agenda. So in order to get started, I will now introduce Yvonne. Yvonne, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see some of you in person there. Well, not in person, but you know, bigger in one room. Like Ronnie said, Kaylee and I are the ones that answer the emails that come into nigp@acclaimpros.net. And we try to answer the questions the same day. We hope we've been answering your questions as well as we can be. We're pretty good at ClubExpress. I've been working in ClubExpress now for 11 years. I am definitely not an expert like Michael or any of the ClubExpress employees are. I'm not employed by ClubExpress, but I do know ClubExpress pretty well. And if I don't have the answer, I'll get you the answer. Okay. And if we're ready, I don't know if Kaylee wanted to come on camera and introduce herself. She might be coming on. She might have to do a little bit of the session if some questions come up that she knows. She knows a couple of the modules within ClubExpress better than I do that relate to you. So she may be answering a couple of your questions today.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Well, with that, let's get started. So this first hour is going to be a 20,000 feet overlook of ClubExpress. It's going to be kind of the basics for people who are just new to maybe a new role coming into coming into your NIGP chapter. So the first thing we're going to look at is the dashboard. For this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log into Wisconsin here. I already let Jenny know that I would. I'm sorry, not Wisconsin. I'm going to go to Washington. Hit the wrong one. I already let Jenny know that I'd probably use her site quite a bit today. So the first thing we're going to look at is the control panel. As chapter admins, all of you should have some form of access to the control panel when you log in. You will see when you log in, if you have access, you'll see control panel up here. What I'm showing here, you might not have the same. You'll see all the same tabs, but when you click on a tab, you might not see anything down here. And that means you don't have access to those specific modules within ClubExpress, just so you know. So let's look at the different tabs. Now, the different tabs are pretty self-explanatory. If you think about it and you look at it, people, this tab is going to have anything to do with all the members. So there's the people manager here. This is where you are going to edit your people, your members, and their membership types, their expiration dates, look at their transactions, etc. People lookup is different. People lookup basically just allows you to look up a member's information, and then people manager allows you to actually edit the person's information. You could see it that has this actions tab down here. So some of you might not have people manager access, but you might have people lookup, okay? Then you've got the website tab. That makes sense that that would have anything basically to do with the website. It would have custom pages, the photo manager. Points tracking is going to be very important to a lot of you for events. So the events is on the website tab, and the points tracking, those go hand in hand. You've got the document library. This is one way to get to your home page. Custom pages are any of the other pages within your website, not your home page. The easiest way to get to your home page, if for some reason you have editor access to your home page, is just when you're on the home page, you can go to your flyout menu over here to edit your home page. But if for some reason you wanted to get back, and if you're in the back end and you needed to get to the home page, this is your home page link. Other important things here that you'll use: photo albums, document library, and the web graphics. Those are the three most important things within the website tab. Some of you may end up needing to use the menus, and we'll go over that. I think we're going to go over that in the next session when we dive a little bit deeper. And then, of course, the events. And when we get to the events basic, we'll go over that. Money tab. Real quick, just going to really quickly go over this. This is really just for your treasurers. Some of you might end up needing to do open credits and discount coupons. A discount coupon would be, let's say you have an event and it's $100 to register, but you want to give a special price to students and you want to give them 15% or $15 off. You could create a discount coupon and give a code to the students. And then when they register, they would enter the discount coupon and it would reduce the price. But this tab right here is really most for treasurers. Chapter, again, not too much that you're going to have to do here other than data export. And we'll go over that in a couple minutes. But this is really for the high level admins where they have to change titles and they have to change administrator roles. The administrator roles is where the different functions, the different modules that you have access to, where I said that you might see a people tab or you might see a website tab, but when you click on it, there's nothing here. That's because this person who set up the roles here has not given you access to those things. And that's what's set up right here. And communications, the biggest thing in communications are going to be emailing, forums, news, surveys. Some of you, I believe, are using ad hoc forms as well. But this website modules, so you see the difference. There's admin functions, website modules, and setup. This website modules here, you're going to use these a lot if your role is in communicating with the members. Okay. And then there's the support tab. I recommend using the support tab. The support tab, you can contact ClubExpress, but you're not going to do that. There is an administrator forum though here. So you can, if you wanted to, you could send an email or even search for answers in the current administrator forum. But I don't use this very often, and I don't know if any of you do, but it's there in case you want it. And then I wanted to just show real quickly the difference between, this is new, edit and view. Let's say you wanted to go to, let's see what would be a good, let's go to the communications tab. And the difference between news, this is the news module. I'll show you what that looks like. Let's see. If I go back to her homepage, this is the news module. And I think all of you are using this, or pretty much all of you are using this. So that is under the communications tab. Communications, news. If I want to edit a news article, I would click on edit and it would bring me to the back end editor to add articles, to maintain articles. Maybe I realize that in one of these articles there is a typo. I would find that article in the list. I would go to the actions. I would hit edit. And then I can fix the typo right there. So that is the edit function. And all of these have an edit and a view function. The view function, if you click on that, it takes you to the front end, what the member would see if you had the news page visible. Okay. Let's see if there's another one that might be. Here's edit for surveys. If you're going to do your elections, for instance, so here's your surveys, but now you've created the survey and you need the link to provide to your members. You can click on the view and then it's going to take you to the surveys. Okay. Let's see. And we already talked real quickly about the coordinators and how the different people have different access. Again, this is under the chapter administrators. And this is where, in this example, these people here are administrators. These people have full access to every single thing that I'm showing you in the back end, every tab, every option. Coordinators have limited access, and you can assign your coordinators with whatever access you want to give them. For instance, I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to go to Erin. I'm going to look at her functions. And she only has access, see in the people tab, she doesn't even have access to the lookup. She only has access to edit the committees and edit the volunteering. And then, you know, scrolling down, you could see what she has access to. So you can have unlimited coordinators with as many different functions or access as you want to give them. It's unlimited.
So that would be why, sorry, Yvonne, I'm just going to jump in when you said when you go to the control panel and you won't necessarily see everything, it might be because of those permissions. So you have coordinator permissions versus full admin, which would see everything.
Correct. So Erin would only see the committees, and I think the other one she had access to was volunteering. So if she clicked on the people tab, she would not see any of this. All she would see is committees, and then that other one that she had access to. And lastly, everybody also has their own unique dashboard. This dashboard is the first button. I'm logged in as my administrator account. So these are the things that I see on the dashboard, but you have access to the dashboard, and then you can configure it and you can choose what you want to see. So maybe if you're in member, or if you have something to do with donations being done, you might want to just do the donation by fund. And then this is how ClubExpress works in every module that we see this look. This is what you're going to do. This is everything that's available, and this is what you've selected. And you can move them back and forth by using the arrows. But let's just move this over here. So I click on what I want to add, and I move it over, and then I hit save. And now I have that new dashboard feature right here that tells me member logins. Okay. So you can create your own dashboard with whatever information you want. And it's actually very nice and easy to find the information that way if you do this, okay? Let's see, I don't want to go over. Now we're going to move real quickly to event basics. So again, under the website tab, that is where you're going to find events and points tracking. These two go hand in hand. I'm going to use this website here as an example to create an event, a very simple event. So I'm going to go to the control panel, website tab, events. So by now, since you're all new, but none of the websites are new, somebody else has already created many of the different configurations. They've created event types. They may have created event categories. They may have preset locations, etc. right here. But you're not going to worry too much about that because this site's already been created, and all you're doing is creating events that have already been configured. So there's two ways to create a new event. If I were to hit this search button, I have two events on this website. let's say it's now time for me to do a New Year's Day social next year. This one is already here from 2026. I can copy this event and then edit it. So I would just go to the event that is most similar to an event I already had, and I would hit the Actions tab and hit copy. And now I can change the date or change the name up here too. Maybe this is just a function. And then I'm making only one copy, and the new date is going to be 1/1/2027. Now I've copied that event really quickly, and then I can go in and edit the event. And when I edit the event, there's all of these tabs over here under that you see that are green. Green indicates that it's been completed. We're going to look at the basic info. The basic info basically just has the name of the event, a short little discussion, a short little description, the category, which we already discussed. They've probably already been completed and created in your websites. The visibility. Let's say I don't want this visible yet. I want to hide this because I'm still working on it and I don't want somebody to register. So I'm going to click not visible. And then there's some other things here, but instead of me going over this here with you, I'm going to create a new event from scratch. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the events, and I'm going to add a new event. I click add an event, and here I'm going to put practitioners. I spell that right? And that'll make sense later if you're staying for other sessions, because I'm going to be creating a practitioners and a supplier event. Short description.
Yvonne, can I just jump in here? So sorry.
Sure.
Can you maybe increase your screen size a little? I'm hearing
Oh,
that
of
it
course.
may be hard for people to see.
I don't want to go too big. Is that better?
Yeah.
A little bit. That's
Better?
good. That's okay, Yvonne. That'll work.
Okay. So I'm just putting a brief description here. And then visibility, or I'm sorry, category, I'm going to assign it as a conference. Again, I'm working on it right now, so I'm going to change this to not visible, but let me quickly tell you what these are. You can have events that are only visible to committees or interest groups or members only. Maybe it's a private event. You don't want non-members to be able to see it on your calendar. You can also have a visible to everyone, but details for members only. This would be something like maybe you have a board of directors. You want it to or board meeting. You want it to show on your calendar, but you don't, so that non-members see that you're doing something, but you don't want them to see the details of the board meeting. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to just put the date in here of 6/1/2026, and we're going to say it starts at 8 a.m. and we want to display the start time. It ends at 6/1/2026. It ends at 5, but I'm not going to display that. You can put a time zone, and then this is where you decide. Remember on that one side panel I said where the green buttons were. This is where you decide what is important for this event, what you need to set up. For this event, we're going to set up a this one's not going to have any questions, and we're going to just do this here. And later we can talk about more about what all of this is. And then see, I'm not going to say that this panel is complete because I want you to see the difference. Now you will see that that is yellow. If I go in here and I mark this as panel complete, it turns to green. Okay. Now, the registrant, the formatted description is more special, and it's where you would put some HTML. You might put some images for the event, a lot of details. This is where you're going to actually be able to put in hard returns, bolded font, things like that. The basic info where I put that brief description is not HTML. It's just regular text. You can't do anything special there. Event contacts. This is where you would put somebody, who, for instance, if somebody's having problems registering, you might say, I want to set up Ginny as, I'm spelling your name wrong, Ginny. Oh, never mind. This is my website. That's why.
Oh, yeah, I don't believe it.
There we go. So I'm pulling up this person, I'm going to make the responsibility for this person. You can put in here event host or registration questions. Okay, I'm going to give this person the primary contact. I want people to be able to see her email, her phone, or her email. Her phone, members only can see her phone. Members only can see her email. Save. Okay. So now I've got to make sure I save that. And now that one went green. And just to show you what that looks like. So now if somebody comes here, they would see registration questions. You saw where I typed that, and then they would have the contact info. I'm going to skip over a lot of this so we can stay in time, but location makes sense. I think everybody can figure out what that is. What's most important are registration and fees and who can register. Registration and fees. This is where you're going to want to, is the registration required by close date, temporarily unavailable, external. You can have an event on your calendar that is somebody else's event, and you can put some information in here and have the registration external. And then when somebody goes to register, and they click on the register now button, which this one doesn't have any registration, but if it did, it would have a register now button. It would open up a new URL externally for you to register. Okay. And let's see, this is where you would set up the capacity of the event. Maybe you only have 20 seats. And do you want to show the capacity? Do you want to show the available slots? And if once you reach capacity, do you want people to be able to add their names to a wait list? And maybe you say you only want to put 5 people on the wait list, and that's it. And then this is where if you want people to be able to, if you want the system to automatically send a spot to the next person on the wait list saying, we just had a cancellation, you have a few hours to register. And then that would give you something like, you would say automatically with 5 hours. Or most people do manually, and they want to be able to contact the next person on the list manually and say something opened. And will a fee be charged? Recommended, most of your events are going to be a fee will be charged, and then payment in full in advance only, or payment at the event. I doubt you're going to do payment by schedule, but let's say payment in advance only, and you're requiring immediate payment. If you don't require immediate payment, somebody can register and they don't pay, and then they don't show up. But if you require immediate assistance, they get 30 minutes to pay. If they don't pay within 30 minutes, it automatically deletes. This is where you would set up if the fee changed after a certain date, like a late fee. Let's see, tracking attendance. You're always going to want to turn on track attendance for your points tracking. And this is where whether or not a person can register, this is important, a person can register themselves and somebody else at the same time. So let's say you want to be able to register 2 people on top of the main registrant. For here, somebody may have already set your defaults, but if they haven't set the defaults or you want to change something, you would want to make sure that the very minimum, you have to show and require email address for your guests and your non-members. Because if somebody registers and you're not requiring an email address, they're not going to get the registration confirmation, nothing. They're not going to get any information. And then I'm going to say this panel is complete. Oh, because I said it was an external, so I'm just going to change that to required. And then now we get to the registrant types. Okay. Registrant types. These are all the different types of registrant types. And I'm just going to go over the ones that I think that you're most likely going to use. I don't recommend using everyone. I don't know why it's there, but I don't recommend it. Most likely you're going to want to use active members. And then you can change the name. You can just say whatever you want. And what's the fee? $50. And then I want to add, now I want, as an active member, I want to be able to bring a guest. My guest might be another member in the organization, or it might be my spouse who's not a member. So that's 2 different types of registrants. So active member, member guest, another member would be somebody who is another member of the chapter. And so I just put member guest, and that's $50. But now let's say I also want to register my spouse. That would be a member guest, a non-member. And well, I'm not doing really well spelling. Now it's going to work the same for non-members. You'd need three, you would need two. Any non-member would be that's the initial first registrant, any non-member. And then can a non-member bring a guest? Yes, if a non-member can bring a guest, then you have to have this registrant type, non-member guest, another non-member. So this is probably going to be one of the most often used types that you're going to, registrant types that you're going to have. This column is the display name. Did really bad with those. This is the registrant type. That's what comes up here. And then this is the fee. Real quickly, I'm going to also mention that there's also this one here, member guest. Member guest, another person in your membership. That would be if you're an agency. So if you're an agency and the primary is registering the primary plus 5 more people within the agency, you must have this registrant type. Otherwise, they won't be able to register those people. Okay.
Can you hold that for just a second? Will you hold that for just a second?
Yep.
Member guests, another person. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so real quickly, we'll just talk about the event emails. Event emails is a really nice feature. You can turn on automatic emails to remind your members of an event that you've created, as well as remind your registrants that they registered for the event. So this one here, automatically send a reminder email to all registrants. This one is automatically send a reminder email to all members. So this might be, you might want to turn this on and say, I want to send a reminder to everybody who's registered 3 days ahead of the event and 0. 0 means they're going to get it that morning. Or maybe you want to do one day. You have no control over what time these go out. These are generally pushed out by ClubExpress at about 6:30 Central in the morning. But you have no control over that. And then this one here is automatically send a reminder email to all members. So you might do 45 days ahead. You want to send an email to all members that this event has been created and registration is open. Okay. I'm going to save this. And then the last thing I'm going to show you on this real 20,000 foot display or demonstration is what the events look like. So, or the emails look like. So if you go to the event manager, again, that's control panel, website, events. This is where you land when you get there. If you go to configure, there are email reminders. These are those 2 emails I was just telling you about. Event reminder to members and event reminder to registrants. And all I want to say really quickly is that they're ugly. They're very, very basic, but you can edit these. But if you edit this, it's going to be whatever you edit this to is going to be, so you can't just edit this for one event. It's going to be, if you edit this and put in a date and a time, any other event that you set it to send out that email is going to have that event date and time. This is set up so that it'll automatically fill in the title, the event date and time, location. But again, you can do some customizing in this. You can do a little bit. It's not, you don't get the full editor within ClubExpress, but you can add like an image of something. You can do a little bit here. Just whatever you do, don't break these little double tildes. These are system tags. Up here is the system tags that you can use in this email. You don't want to break this. If I were to remove this one, when somebody got this email, it would say the event title, New Year's Eve, whatever, the event time, but then it would say short description, tilde, short underscore description, tilde, because I broke the link. So you've got to make sure you don't break the links. Okay. And let's see. So we're also going to look at the email module. That's under the communications tab. Emailing. And again, by the time you're working on this, somebody has already configured your website and set up some templates, defaults, options, etc. So we're just going to start with creating a new email. So I clicked on add emailing, and I'm going to look and see if I have any templates in here. I don't have any templates saved. So I'm going to go back to the elements, and I'm just going to start building a quick email. Let's say,
I
I'm
have
sorry.
what's in my website if you want to grab some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in Ginny's website. I'm going to emailing. I'm going to add an email. And she's got, it defaults to elements, but I'm going to click on templates. She's got some templates here. These top ones are built-in ClubExpress templates, but I'm going to look for one that she's actually created and customized. I'm going to go to, since this says old template, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to drag it over to this box. Now that I've done that, I can edit this email. She's
boring.
yeah.
Oh, we got more exciting ones than that.
So she's using one column text. I'm not a big fan of one column text. I actually prefer, I'm going to have to go smaller here for a second. I actually prefer HTML. I'll show you the difference. When I go into edit here, this is all I have is my editor up here. I cannot get to the HTML. There's no tab down here, but I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into the HTML one. And you'll see I have a lot more options. I've got, I can put in a news widget article in here. I can put in some graphics. I can do links. There's just a lot more things. There's some characters I can use. I can just do so much more within the HTML. So I'm going to save that. Now, let's say I also want to put a logo in here. I'm just going to pull over. So basically you just pull these things over, but you see when I did that, it went to the bottom. So I have to kind of just keep manipulating it to pull it up to where I want it. And now I'm going to hover over this and I'm going to insert an image. And I'm just going to look for a logo. So when you're looking for images.
Sorry, Yvonne, do we need to increase your screen size? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you're looking for images, this pop-up window opens and you can look for images within by a title, by a folder, different folders. She's got all these different folders. So perfect. She's got a folder called chapter logo. So I'm going to go to chapter logo, and I don't even need to probably type anything here. But let's say I did want to type something here and I wanted to type logo, but I don't know if my file starts with logo or if it just contains the word logo. So I'm going to change it to contains the word logo. And now I can find the logo. Alt text is for people who are blind. It's for the visibility, the speech, where it speaks the text. So I'm going to put alt text in there. That I'm going to put this is the Washington chapter logo or something like that. And then I hit select. That's too big, obviously. So we can actually resize this. But no, not in here. We can't. It's in here. It's going to automatically fill this space. So that's not something you would ever want to do, this image. So you'd want to use a smaller image. Perhaps maybe what you want to do is you want to do something like a image group.
Yvonne, I'm able to shrink that using that little button.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I could shrink that image, that large image. There's that little arrow on the bottom right. And I just like drag it in. And I
Oh yeah, you can. The other thing you can do, but see, what'll happen is if you send this email out and all you've done is this, some email editor, clients are going to get that huge logo. It's going to strip your editing out of there. So you're better off using a smaller image. You can also do something like this. I'm just using this one. You can also do this, and you can leave this box blank if you wanted to. And then your image is only going to be in the upper left-hand corner. Okay. Now up here, so there's a lot of things you can do. You can play around with this. The only thing after you're done playing around, you're going to go down here, and after you've saved it, this is gonna be lit up. It's not lit up right now because I haven't created a title, I haven't created a distribution list, and we'll get to that. But you can play around with this as much as you want, and it's never gonna go out until you hit ready for delivery, and then you're gonna get a pop-up that says, are you sure it's ready? So don't be afraid to play around here and send yourself test emails. You can send yourself as many test emails by clicking on send test, and then you can actually send it to multiple Outlook, Gmail, at various Yahoo, so that you can see what the email is going to look like in different email clients. So going up here under the basic information, I am going to put in here, this is where you would put in who it's from, what the from name is, what the email address that you wanted to say it's coming from, the subject line. And then this here, personalization allowed is you have to have this on in order to be able to have this. If you don't have it on, the first name, somebody's going to get the email and it's going to say, dear first name. So you have to have personalization on in order to get that system tag to fill in first name. Sorry. And track opens, I recommend highly that you track every email open, because that way you can see if somebody got the email, if it bounced, if they got the email, if they opened it, etc. And then these are the different categories. Again, as I stated earlier, somebody has probably already set up all your categories. I recommend using the categories, because when you go to find emails, maybe to copy the election email that you sent out last year to this year so that you can use the same one this year, it's going to make it a lot easier to find them if you're searching by category. So create categories if you don't have categories set. So let's just say this is the president message. And then you can also set it up to send out at a future date and time. I'm going to send this out tomorrow. It's automatically going to be your time zone. Whatever your homepage website set is going to be your time zone. So this is going to be 9:30 Pacific. Okay. The distribution list, some of you may already go in here and you see that somebody has saved multiple distribution lists. So you can take a look at these. Here are some distribution lists that she saved. All active members, even those who opted out. March Summit. You can create as many distribution lists as you want. And if you don't have a distribution list already created, you can create one from here. So I want to send this to all active secondary members only. Once I pick who I want to send it to, I hit add. But let's say I want to exclude one member. I don't want it to go to, let's see. I'm going to type in, so I'm going to get rid of the text here, and I'm going to start typing in what I'm looking for. One member selected from the database. Ginny, can you give me a name of one of your secondaries?
Let's do Lee. It's the last name. L-E-E.
L-E-E?
L-E. Yep.
Taylor.
Taylor.
I'll just grab any.
Yeah.
So now I select Tanya. I don't want her to get this, so I have to have who I'm sending it to first, and then my exclude. So then I can exclude this one person. So it'll go to all active secondary members except this person. Now I want to save this as a list. If I want to save it as a distribution list so I can find this same list next time, I can create a distribution list. And then I would hit save, and then it would end up going up here into this list, but I'm not going to save that because it's a bad distribution list. So let's just get rid of that. A little hint, if you click on this little arrow, this caret, it'll tell you how many people are going to get the email. So this is a good way if you're not sure you chose the right distribution. So this is going to go to 296 people. 4 people, it's not going to, four additional people are not going to get it because they have an invalid email address. 2 are not functionable, and 21 members are refusing emails from your organization. Because I set tracking, once this email were sent, I would be able to go to the email. So this hasn't been sent, so I can't look at it, but this one has. I would go to actions. This results right here just does a real quick pop-up, tells you 89% of the people, 89 people opened it, 21%, it went to 409. But then there's also these reports. If I click on reports, I get 3 different types of reports that you can look at. This one here will tell you who opened it and when. This one here will do that breakdown. 4 people failed, 21 people refusing. You'll be able to see who's refusing, who failed. You'll be able to fix your distribution. If somebody is refusing, there is a way to, you should reach out to them. If it's a member refusing, reach out to them and make sure they realize they're refusing their emails. So I'm going to move on to quick member management, and that's going to be, I can even show you where they're refusing their emails there. I'm going to stay, let's see. I'm going to stay within Ginny's for now. I'm going to go to People tab, People Manager. And when you go to People tab, People Manager, it automatically defaults to members, active expired, and I was in here earlier, so it actually defaults to last name. So members, active expired, last name. I recommend highly always switch to both and check all. And now I'm going to just put in, I'm just going to put the letter J for last name. Now this is going to pull up everybody whose last name starts with the letter J. And these are the different membership types and what their status is. This is active. This is non-member active. So if I hadn't checked both, this non-member would not be here. Okay. Active and expired and dropped are the ones you're going to see the most. And then when I said that people, let's see, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm not. Let me go to this website here. People Manager, and I'm just going to go to everybody in here because I don't have a lot. So this will show me the member level, primary, secondary, expired, the name. If you see this blue, that means it's a link. So I can click here on this one and it opens up a quick pop-up and it shows me the email address if I wanted to quickly get somebody's email address. Let's say that Lindsay should not be, or Kate, let's go down to Kaylee. Kaylee should not be active. She actually decided that she no longer wants to be a member. If I click on active, a little pop-up shows up and I can freeze her membership, drop her membership, or expire her membership. I'm going to expire her because the reason I'm going to expire her is because I want to keep her in my database. If I drop her, her information will be gone. Her contact information will be gone, her phone number, her email address. So I'm going to expire her. Now she's expired, but I want to be able to communicate with her. So I'm going to switch her. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to convert her to a non-member. Now, if I ever, now see, I still have her email address here, her email, I'm still capable of emailing her. If I want to send an email in the future to non-members, she will get that email. If I want to edit her, maybe she says I have the wrong email address. Let's go with a member. If I want to edit a member's profile, I go to the action tag, profile. And this is all the information in the profile. You guys, if you've gone to your website, you've seen basically the same information, but there's just a little bit more as an admin. As an admin, you can change their privacy, you can expire them, you can change their expiration date, etc. But all members have information in their profile for their transaction history, where they can print an old invoice or receipt, and their event history. So for this one, Kaylee has said, or Milo has said, I have the wrong email address for him. So I'm going to go into basic member info, and I am going to scroll down here, and I'm going to change his email. And update his email. Okay, this also tells me that Jeremy is the primary member. That's the membership number. Here's a quick last renewal date. And this is kind of an important one, last login. A lot of times people will say they haven't been able to log in or something like that. I can go in here and say, well, you did, you logged in a couple of days ago. That might be something that is important to you. So this is also where you would see, you know, like I said, the expiration date. The expiration date is 1/31/26. This person is expired. In the next session, I'm going to go through how to renew, how a member should be, a primary member in an agency should be renewing from the front end, and what an admin will do in the back end. So we're just going to skip that for now. But again, this is where you would, if somebody said, I need a receipt for that conference that I registered for, you could go into either the transaction history or payment credit history. It will automatically default to 12 months. So you can do all. There's no nothing here for that person. So let's see here, profile. And again. Sorry, guys. So this person paid with a Visa on 2/12/26. They say, I need my receipt. You can either say log into the website and you can get your receipt, or you can just go here, get a receipt form, print it, PDF it, send it out to them. Okay. The other thing is people will tell you they need to reset their password. Obviously, people can reset their own password. If I'm not logged in and I go to member login, it's going to ask me if I say I forgot my password. It's going to ask me for my email address and first name. Let's say their email address is no longer good. That's the whole reason they're trying to log in, because they need to change their email address. Well, they're not going to be able to change, not be able to get the password reset because it's going to go to their old email address. So they're going to ask you to send them a password reset. You can do that by the control panel, people tab, people manager, find the member, go to the actions tab, profile, and then reset password. And that's member basics. I have web graphics to look at real quick. Do we want to go a couple minutes in web graphics before Q&A?
Let me ask, do we have any questions in the audience?
She just did the reset password, so should we have to type in a different alternate email address to send the new email password request to?
Ron, did you hear that?
Yes, so if this is the person who is trying to reset their password because they don't have their password, I'm sorry, their email address is no good. First thing you'd want to do is go into basic member information, update their email address, and then send them a reset password.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna do the assigning points to an event, like in another session, or?
Yes, if we were to do assigning points in another event, in another session.
That's either going to be this, it's not on here in particular. I think that's going to be in the third session.
Any other questions, or do you want us to talk about the, we have another question, hold on. Yes, ma'am.
We have a member in the Mississippi chapter whose email is entered correctly, but it keeps saying that it's a bad email.
Let's look at it. Which chapter is it?
Mississippi?
Mississippi, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And the member last name?
Brewer, Brewer.
And the name I didn't hear. B as in boy?
Brewer, Brewer.
Brewer.
Leslie or Bradford?
Bradford.
Okay, so let's look at Bradford. We're going to go to the Actions tab. Again, I'm in the People Manager, not People Lookup. People Lookup only allows you to look them up. It doesn't allow you to edit them. I'm going to go to Bradford, Actions, Profile. And here it's saying that there's no problem with his email. If there was a bad email, it would say that there's a bad email here. Have you reset it?
Last week.
I'm sorry?
It was orange last week or earlier this week, so.
Yeah.
Okay, good salad. I love them.
Sometimes you just need to, if it's orange, you can click on it, and sometimes you just need to say, try it again. It's one of the, I can't get to it without having one that I could look at. It doesn't say try again. That's not the word, but it says like, do you want to replace the email? Do you want to try again, or whatever it says, and you can play around with it. We have had one of your NIGPs recently, I think it was about 6 months ago, Wisconsin, maybe, I don't know. There was something going on and we had to go to ClubExpress. They actually did have to clear a cache in the back end for one group. So if you keep having that problem, come to us and we'll reach out to them, because there has been a case with NIGP that ClubExpress had to get involved.
Okay, we have another question.
This is Mississippi chapter as well. I myself come in there twice with 2 different emails. How do I combine them? One is a work email and the other one is my personal email.
Okay. So I was going to go over this member management cleanup in the next session. Is it okay if I cover this?
She said we can wait if we're gonna
Okay.
cover section. Is there any other questions about basic stuff? Okay, we have one more, and then if we have a few minutes, we'll take a break or do the graphics.
Okay.
If you have a member who, let's say they're going to retire at the end of this month, can you go ahead and mark them as a retiree effective March 1? And can you go ahead and indicate that date? Or do you have to wait until March 1 to put them as a retiree?
You have to go in on March 1. So I'm assuming you have a membership type that is retired.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to do it on the day they retired.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question, another question?
I have a member who is no longer with the public sector. He has his own business. He started it last year, November. We just had our renewals at the beginning of this year. He renewed, but I told him he couldn't renew as a vendor. So how do I take him out of the system? Like, what's the steps to revoke his privileges?
If I heard correctly, what you said is somebody renewed, but they renewed at the wrong membership type, and you need to change it to a different membership type now?
Yes, because he can't have a membership, he's now a veteran. Yvonne, I mean, that one, we want to table that to another time, or?
It sounds like that's going to be more about the heavy duty editing and fixing members and agencies, et cetera, which is going to be in our next session.
And guys, also, if we don't get to all questions, we want you to write everything down. These are the questions that we'll use in our next upcoming office hours as well. So if we don't get to everything, we'll do that. We have just a few minutes here. Do you want to talk anything about the graphics?
Sure. So under the website tab is web graphics right here, setup. Web graphics are going to be where you put all your logos and basically anything on your website, any pictures that you send in emails, any events, landing pages that you want to put a nice pretty picture of, maybe the venue, you put it in your web graphics. This here, I'm on the very beginning page of web graphics. So again, website, web graphics, and pretty much all the modules in ClubExpress have these things across the top. So again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit that back. This is where I'm going to manage folders. So I recommend this website here has 192 photos in default folder, images in default folder. they probably were, they were probably starting the website and just putting everything in default, but then afterward, they started to create these folders. Definitely a good idea, okay? It's just gonna make it so much easier for you to find, and you can add them at any time. And then let's say I want to now, this one doesn't have a tab, so this default folder must be your parent site default folder. So let's say I accidentally have a photo in here in headshots that should not be in headshots. I can go to the Actions tab, Edit, and I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
I know.
Now, this is what I meant to say. If I have a photo in here that's in the wrong location, default folder, I can go into the Actions tab, Edit, and I can move that to a different folder. That's what I meant to say. My apologies. I was in the wrong spot. So let's say this one is actually supposed to be in the individual awards. I'm not going to move it, but I can change that. Okay. It's not going to affect, if it's on the website somewhere, it's not going to affect the visibility. It's not like once you move it to a different folder, the picture on the web page doesn't show up. Another thing with that is, let's say I've got a logo. So here's the final Washington logo at 219 pixel. But this one, let's say I have this one linked on this one maybe is this one linked right here. And we get a new logo. Instead of having to go into the website and change the file name on every page that logo or that graphic appears, I can just update the graphic. So I can go to Actions, Edit, and I can replace the file with a different file. I'm not going to actually do it. And then I would hit Save. And then anywhere that image is on your website or in your email, it'll automatically change. If instead you want to keep that original image, maybe for posterity, then you would have to upload a brand new image, get the URL, and change the URL, the link, anywhere that's on your website. Does that make sense?
We should probably take a minute or two break because I know the next session starts in about 2 minutes. So give you a breather, Yvonne, for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, guys, we're just gonna take a quick for second section here. And again, if you guys have questions, write them down because it's gonna help feed our office hours. So if you think of something else, write them down. Sorry.
This is also a great example of what office hours are like if you haven't attended. So just to let everyone know, it's definitely a place to come ask questions, and Yvonne shows you how to do it. Also to learn from some of the things that she shows. So.
I want to, so the reason, Ronnie, I was doing this practitioner in here was because I want to be able to show them how they can have a custom page that would say practitioner registration, supplier registration.
Yeah.
So Kaylee, okay, so Kaylee, in the next one, I'm going to go over a more advanced multi-activity event. Gosh, we could spend hours, but what I want to do is once I'm going to create, so if you noticed, I put in the June, in fact, I'm going to change the date so that I don't have to flip on this calendar a million times. I've got June 1st practitioners. Oops. Let's change that to
Jennifer, first if you could let us know when you guys want to start.
Let us know when you're ready, but
Yeah, everybody just get some snacks. Just
It's
take
kind of also just, I would like to spend a moment just to talk about some of the support. We should talk about that flyer on there so that
Absolutely.
they understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd give it just another minute just for people
Yeah.
stretch and then, we can dive right in.
Okay. So Kaylee, after this
Are you
next
looking for a
session, when
car?
I create
Yeah.
the
Here's an outlet. There's
suppliers
one. I only
multi,
want, let me get you faster.
will you go to this page and create a new row that has a link to practitioner registration?